Hey y'all, this is Dr. Michael J. Maxwell, licensed professional counselor and psychotherapist. I'm here today putting together a little video to share my most recent experience with with ethnic privilege. And I'm using the phrase ethnic privilege because so many folks have such a knee-jerk extreme reaction to the term white privilege. And so ethnic privilege is really the same stuff, just taking some of the edge off of a specific ethnicity. So here's my experience. Uh, we have a grocery store that we frequent near our neighborhood. We lived in our home for about 5 years now, and so we've been frequenting this grocery store for about 5 years. And there have been three or four different instances where I've really questioned the individuals or the policies of this grocery store. I'm not going to name the grocery store; that wouldn't be fair. But I do want to share with y'all my most recent experience with the privilege. So I'm at the store and I need to pick up three items. I have a bottle of coffee creamer, a package of M&Ms, and a bottle of red wine. And this red wine was a medium price Cabernet. It wasn't a fruity, sweet Zinfandel or Moscato or something like that. It was a medium price Cabernet, kind of a dry Cabernet. Anyway, I find the shortest line. There's a lady in line with a basket full of groceries. She, let's see if I can describe her. She's a white lady. She looked around the age 30, give or take a year or so. She was of average appearance. And the reason why I share that, that'll be important, it'll come a little later. But she wasn't made up, just on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe a 7 or so. So anyway, but that is important. I don't want to sound overly judgmental or subjective, but that's important a little bit later. And so she's there, and the young man that's checking her out, he's probably in his early to mid 20s. There's no major issues there. He's checking her out. There's no flirting going on. He gets to her final item in her basket, and it's a 12 pack of beer. And after he swipes the beer, he asks her for her date of birth, and she tells him 5/13/1988. And at that point, I'm doing the math in my head thinking, oh, well, she just turned 30. Okay. And so they finish the transaction. She goes on her way, and I step up. He swipes my coffee creamer. He swipes my M&Ms, and he gets to my single bottle of wine, and he asks for me to show him my ID. And I just kind of stand there and look at him. I'm not grinning, and I'm not grimacing either. I just have a flat affect on my face, and I stand there in that position for about 4 or 5 seconds, trying to give him the time to think about what has just transpired there. And so, after he looked at me, waiting for my ID, I said, "That lady who was on her way out the door, she's not even out the door yet. Okay, she purchased a 12 pack of beer, and you asked for her date of birth. But for some reason, you want to see my ID." And he kind of snickered and said, "Well, it's our policy to check the ID of folks who look under 30. And again, I'm not grinning. I'm like, I'm 45 years old. I realize I may look a little bit younger than my age, but she's right on 30. And I don't look under 30. So I'm just kind of curious on why the difference in enforcing the policy." And he shrugged his shoulders. And again, I said, "I'm not here to embarrass you. I've got people in line waiting behind here to finish their transaction. I'm just feeling some kind of way right now. And I recommend that you are more consistent with enforcing the policy, because the only difference that is apparent between me and that other customer is gender and ethnicity." And then I went on my way. And so, and of course, I showed my ID and I finished the transaction. There was no big deal. The reason why I'm sharing this information is, the amount of effort it took for me to actually show him my ID was minimal. I had my wallet out. There was no big deal there. But just the difference in, she was allowed to verbally give her date of birth, but I was required to show my ID. That is ethnic privilege. And certainly the amount of effort it took to do that was very minimal. Had he asked for me to give him verbally my date of birth, we would not have had a problem. Had he asked her to show her ID and for me to show my ID, we would not have had a problem. But the fact that we were treated differently caused something within me. And it's been a couple months now, and it's really been so it having an impact on me. And so when folks have questions about the impact of ethnic privilege, it's these small microaggressions that add up, and they have a tremendous impact on people of color. It's not the one incident. That one incident was not a big deal, but it's the cumulative effect of many, many incidences, and folks tend to have an explosive moment because of that. So once again, I thank you for viewing my video. That was my most recent experience with ethnic privilege, and I hope that it's had some type of an impact on your life. Thank you.